Hello everybody, welcome to our market report. My name is Christian Charlo. Today we're Friday, January 25th. Today folks, I want to talk to you about an update on what happened throughout this week. This week we had a confirmation that the US economy is starting to get better. Not only that, we had a good earnings. Just to give you stats, about one-third of the S&P 500 companies already published their earnings, and out of those one-third, 65% beat estimates. And the last quarter, it was only a 40% that beat estimates. So that shows you that companies are making money. The momentum is on the US side. The IMF predicted that also. The Davos Summit opened recently on a wave of optimism. So there's some signs that the economy, the US economy, is starting to get better. What we have consumers who are having their homes, which actually are starting to get back up because the real estate market in the US is starting to pick up. Also, with more money with their homes, consumers are able to do what? To consume more. So consumer staple, consumer discretionary, those financial sector, those sectors actually perform pretty well throughout this week. But a sector that didn't perform, that outperformed, it's the gold and silver. It's simple. When there are less inflationary pressures, which means that the Fed doesn't dump money into the economy, well then, the gold and the silver are going down. Also, we have the Chinese economy, which is starting to get back up. So all those are signals that, you know what, why should we have a lot of exposure with a tool like the gold, which allow us to hedge against inflation when we have the economy which is starting to get up? We'd rather invest our money into sectors where we see increase in demand, where we see consumers investing more, spending more of their money. So that's it. Let's take a look to see what happened in terms of the market, in terms of the gold and the sectors that outperform. First of all, for the gold spot price, it continues to maintain its downward momentum, as you see here. Yes, there's that support that's over there, but there's still a lot of chances that we might continue to go down before we reach that support. So there's still some potential on the downside. We had a lot of breakdown in the gold sector. Agnico Eagle, a breakdown over there. So those of you who shorted Agnico Eagle over there, so far because it's only taking 2.81%, you hold on to it, but it's still a good short that you made. Gold Corp continuing to go down. There's that support that is over there at 34.59. So those of you who like to buy it at the bottom, just have to be patient and wait for the Gold Corp to at least stabilize with this 932 stochastics and starts to heads up before starting to acquiring some positions on the bottom. It's not there yet. It's continuing to go down. Dato Gold also continues to go down, broke an important support, and now the stock is losing a lot of momentum. So not only gold stocks are not performing, silver spot price is also going down, and you have also Endeavor Silver and First Majestic Silver, which are taking the lead and dragging the silver sector down. For the sectors in the US that perform pretty well, I'm going to show you a list of the sectors that perform pretty well, where you see consumers are starting to invest a lot of money, buying more, and also the companies that posted earnings this week. For instance, the consumer staple sector. Yes, it has been going up. It's continuing to maintain its upward trend. You had Procter & Gamble, which posted strong earnings, so that stock is continuing to go up. So those of you who had the stock at the bottom, well, you're able to just take some profit right now on that stock. The financial sector is going up also. It's normal. When the economy is going better, the real estate market is doing better, people are more inclined to consume more, so more loans, banks are going to do better. Goldman Sachs, record profits. JP Morgan Chase also good earnings. Those were posted last week, not this week, last week. And Morgan Stanley also performed pretty well. But you see that on most of those banks, actually, we're losing some momentum right now. So yes, we are able to keep the upward trend, but we're staying totally neutral. So is it a moment to get in right now? Not at all. It's a moment to just wait to see what is going to be the next cycle on those stocks. Consumer discretionary also in the US performed pretty well. You have Netflix, strong earnings. Netflix is a big performer, actually took 40% in that breakout. Now it's taking another 15%. So if you bought it in the breakout, take some profit, folks. 65% in 2 days. You don't see it often, so take some profit. Amazon is also performing pretty well. It's giving a technical signal today. And there's also McDonald's, which also performed pretty well on good earnings. So consumer discretionary, consumer staple, financial sector in the US, yes, have been performing well. But most of those sectors, folks, are actually slightly losing their upward momentum. They're having a pause right now because markets have increased so much for the last 2 weeks. Yes, the prospects look bright for the next few months in the US, but I think it's all about to determine when it is going to be the good entry point. Let those sectors at least stabilize for a while, and when they make a new cycle, you'll be able to get into those sectors. But concerning the gold and the silver, so far, I think that on Wednesday, we will have a clear indication if the trend that the U.S. has followed for the last few days about the GDP reading, if it will continue. On Wednesday next week, we will monitor that pretty closely to see if this trend is able to continue. I think if the U.S. economy continues to do good, if the indicators that we await next week continue to be good, the gold will continue to go down. And those of you who have some positions in the gold sector, short positions, you'll be able to cash in pretty much. That said, see you next week on our next market report. This is Christian Charlo. If you want any details, go to our website, decisionplus.com, try our softwares, and also marketgurus.tv, where we'll give you the best technical advice to be able to make more money. Because the more money you make, the happier we are. See you next week.